Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Skull Session Recruiting Podcast, Signing Day Recruiting Capsules. I am Marc Givler. This is Kevin Noon with me. We are looking at every player the Buckeyes are signing here today in the class of 2023 on National Signing Day. We are going to a program that Ohio State's very familiar with now. We are going to go to Glenville. We are going to go to linebacker Arvell Reese, four-star prospect. Nice shades there on that picture. I believe that's is that a Kevin Noon or a Tom Orr game visit photo?
That would be me. I got that picture.
Okay. Before we get too far into this is one of my favorite players in this class. I've had a chance to see a lot of him going back to the Best of the Midwest Combine, which is where Kevin and I first saw him and kind of knew this day might be coming. He didn't have an Ohio State offer at that point, but Tony Alford was there watching his son, and we knew that Tony had taken an interest there, and it just felt like a matter of time, and they did eventually offer him. Obviously, he committed back in August, signing today in the fold, the only linebacker to sign. Kevin, you were one of the first people to see him along with me at the Best of the Midwest. What did you think then? And kind of, are you, as this has played out, it kind of played out as we anticipated?
Yeah, we actually went there. I mean, I think the first person that we wanted to watch at that combine was Bryce West, his teammate, a 2024 defensive back. And then our eyes just kept getting drawn to Arvell, and just like, all right, we know who he is. So it wasn't like, who is this kid? We knew who he was, and he was just kept being impressive. I mean, and as things went on, and we saw him we saw him during the spring at Ohio State, and then I had the opportunity to see him play here in town. I don't even remember against who, but Glenville
Liberty,
came out.
I think.
Yeah, and Arvell, when I had the chance to kind of talk to him a little bit before the game, I talked to him after the game. I'm like, I mean, just once you put the pads on him, he looks even more impressive. I mean, already, you wonder, okay, is he a linebacker? Is he somebody that's going to slide into that Leo or the Jack Leo position in the Jim Knowles defense? I mean, he's listed at like 6'3.5", 212. I think that weight is maybe a little underrepresented. I think he's every bit of 6'4", because he's got a couple inches of height on me. Just a real impressive guy who just continues to get better, and I don't think he has any idea of how good he can be.
Yeah, I think he's up to like 220, 225 right now. I saw him obviously at some camps and things like that. I saw him in the state championship game just a couple weeks ago. Here's our video from that. Watch him track here. And this is CJ Hester. He strips here, and CJ Hester's one of the best running backs in Ohio. And that's a huge game-changing play there early in that state championship game. Glenville did win this game. Arvell Reese was a big reason why. His ability to read and react and then get sideline to sideline. Here he is dropping back. Watch him read the quarterback here. And he's going to come up with this interception. This is right at the end of the first half. Wyoming's driving to make this really tight game, and Arvell comes up with another game-changing play there. He is incredibly impressive to me. I think he's one of the most talented guys in this class. I think he's the most under-talked about guy in this class. Watching, blows up the tunnel screen here, keeps that from going for a big gain. The way he's able to get sideline to sideline at his size and just finish, make the tackle. He's a sure tackler. Just a really impressive guy. Kevin alluded to it. My only question is, he's such a big framed kid. Can he stay at linebacker, or does he have to go down and play this jack position, kind of more of a stand-up edge rusher? Because not only are there frame questions and concerns there about doing that, but I've watched him play enough to know that he is a really impressive blitzer. He is the type of guy who actually could thrive in that role. So it becomes a thing now of, we talked, he's the only linebacker they signed in this class. Did they actually even sign a linebacker? If he's the only one, have they signed any at all? And that's going to be something that gets answered here, I think, probably in pretty short order in the next, 8 to 12 months, get him into the program and see how his body responds to the strength and conditioning program. Kevin, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, which way are you leaning at this point?
I think Arvell is a jack, and I think Sonny Styles is a linebacker. So, I mean, it all kind of works out. And Sonny Styles obviously was, he's been on campus for a year after a reclassification to be part of the 22 class. So It's just, it's the nature of the beast. You bring in these guys and you see that, they're nowhere close to maxed out in terms of what their body is, and that you bring them in at one position and they can be something else. And we're not even going to get into guys that sit there and go from linebacker, running back, linebacker. I mean, yeah, we don't know what to make of a Chip Trainum or a Steel Chambers or guys like that. But I think that Arvell Reese is just different than a lot of the guys that they have in terms of that Jack Leo position, because you could sit there and look at like a Jack Sawyer and say, all right, well, Jack is significantly bigger than Arvell, but Arvell is going to be able to do some things that Jack can't do. Jack's going to be able to do some things that Arvell can't do, but I think you just bring him in and he's truly an athlete. I mean, he's truly that athlete position. And when we rank guys as an athlete, it's always, oh, that's just a cop out. You just don't want to put him somewhere. Well, we just really don't know what he's going to be at that next level. And Arvell Reese is certainly that guy. Now I mean, he may have maxed out in terms of his height, and he may just sit there at about 6'4". And I mean, his frame looks like he could handle another 30 pounds, but we'll see. I mean, we've seen guys that just can't get weight on their frames. I mean, and at all sorts of positions. So we just don't know. So I don't think any of us want to sit there and get pigeonholed into saying he's definitely a linebacker, he's definitely a rush end. But either way, I mean, Ohio State is thrilled to have him, and that he was somebody who was right there in their backyard at Glenville. And just once again, kudos to Glenville for having kids once again, because Ohio high school football is just better when Glenville's good.
Yeah, that was really fun watching them win a state championship a couple weeks ago. That was a great moment for Ted Ginn Sr. and those guys. I sometimes might look at this as a problem. I actually don't think this is a problem. I actually think this is a win-win for Ohio State. He either outgrows linebacker and gives them almost a prototype for that jack position with his flexibility and explosiveness off the edge, or he's able to maintain, let's say 235. He's able to maintain, and now you've got this rare like Mike linebacker type of player that is kind of almost a unicorn at this point. It's very, very hard. I think they had one a little bit with Raekwon McMillan, but it's really hard to keep these Mike linebackers on the field in all situations at this point with the passing games, what they are, the spread offenses, what they are. I think if Arvell is able to actually maintain 230, 235, I think he's that type of guy. He's like an every down Mike linebacker that you don't have to take off the field. He's not going to be a liability on 3rd and 10. He can actually stay out there, and you can put him on a tight end, or you can have him, drop into a zone in the middle of the field, and he's not going to hurt you. So I think this is actually a win-win. And I've kind of, I started out that he was definitely an edge player, and I've kind of backed off that a little bit. I think he's shown me enough sideline to sideline that, again, if his body taps out at 230, 235 and says, no more weight, then I think that's going to be just fine. So it's one of those rare, like, kind of win-wins where I don't think it really matters. I think they're going to get a great player regardless of which position it is.
I just hope that there's not a level of stubbornness and malpractice like there was with like a Baron Browning, and not realizing what you really had there and trying to put an oval peg in a round hole. And while it looked like it might fit, and it never really was there. And then you see what Baron Browning's been able to do on Sundays, and it's like, wow, they really messed that one up.
Yeah, I was kind of leading that. I was not shy about that. The waste of Baron Browning here at Ohio State there for a few years, and Baron's almost a different level. I mean, we saw Baron in high school, and we watched a workout he did his junior year. I guess would have been the spring of his junior year, and we walked in and we weren't sure at first that was actually Baron. We thought maybe he's not too far out, wasn't too far outside of Dallas. We thought maybe there was like a Dallas Cowboys linebacker there that just lives close and worked out at the high school, got to let him use the facility or something. I was like, oh no, that's actually Baron Browning. I think we ran into Luke Fickell there too, didn't we? Yeah,
I'm a box jumps that he was doing.
He was doing those like 4-foot box jumps. It was hilarious to watch. But yeah, I think Arvell is he has some of those traits, though. He does have some of those explosive traits, and you do wonder, boy, if you just put him on the edge and turn him loose, maybe that's the best spot for him. But they'll figure it out. And I think, like I said, I think either way, they're going to be getting a heck of a player. But no drama here. He took a little bit of time, but he didn't do the whole Glenville thing. I mean, there was talk he might do the real traditional Glenville thing and wait and announce the All-American Bowl or the Army. He just did the Army Bowl, the new Army Bowl, this past week, and there was some talk maybe he would wait and kind of do that as the Glenville kids of the past have often done, and he didn't do that. He just, August, I think it was August 6th, August came around, and he just said, no, my season's about to start. I don't want to have this drama for my senior season. So he was able to, issue his commitment to Ohio State, focus on a senior season, and it resulted in a state championship. And obviously, as we mentioned earlier, they'll be back at Glenville. 2024 defense back Bryce West, 2024 jumbo athlete. We'll call him a tight end, probably a tight end. Demarion Witten, fantastic athlete as well. I think he might be the offensive version of Arvell. Like, well, is he a big receiver, or is he a flex tight end, or can we bulk him up? So that'll be maybe stay tuned for that next year if they land him, which looks good at this point. But the Glenville pipeline is back, and they will be back at Glenville in 2024 as well. But like I said, kind of at the beginning, and I don't want to say this, I'm not going to say this about everybody because it's not true for everybody. And I also, it needs to mean something when I say it. This is truly one of my favorite players in this class. I really think this kid is being slept on a little bit, both nationally and even from the Ohio State fan base, just because he's a Glenville kid and people just, expected him to be a Buckeye. And I don't know what it is, but this kid has a chance to be pretty special, I think. But all right, we are going to wrap this one up. Again, BuckeyeHuddle.com for all the capsules, which will have the video and we'll have some written stuff around it. There will be other signing day content, class grades and breaking news. Anything else happens with BuckeyeHuddle.com. You can get on our message board, ask us questions. If you just want to watch on YouTube, it's youtube.com/BuckeyeHuddle. Please subscribe to the channel if you are not already. And if you just want to listen, we have these available for download on your podcast platforms that you use. So should be available on all platforms. But thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And we will see you on the next one.